morning. My name is Yolanda Sumu. I am the General Director of IQ Farm and promoter of the HR Forum.
Hello, 1 minute.
Dedicated to capacity.
Let me broadcast. Just give me 1 minute to broadcast.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Yolanda Sumu. I am the General Director of IQ Farm and promoter of the Africa HR Forum, an open forum dedicated to capacity and standard development in the human resource industry. In collaboration with the African Human Resources Confederation, we present the HR trainings, a 30-minute session on every first Thursday of each month, in which an instructor will briefly share his knowledge in HR or business and answer questions. These free sessions will help us to have varied points of view on current issues and share our experiences with other Pan-African professionals. We apologize for the time change for today's lesson. I am honored to present today's lecturer, Mr. Areff Salauroo, who is an MBA holder from the University of Surrey and Chartered Fellow of CIPD, HR Director of LA Sentinelle Group, President of the Association of Human Resource Professionals in Mauritius, and President of the African HR Confederation. Welcome, Mr. Salauroo. We understand that today is International Day of Persons with Disabilities and that you have been asked as President of the Mauritius Association of Human Resource Professionals to deliver a speech this afternoon. Therefore, we thank you for honoring your commitment to present us with today's lesson, New Challenges in the Human Resource Function, prior to your other engagement. With no further ado, I'll give you the floor so that you can begin today's lesson. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. It's for me to thank you. Yeah, it's true. Today is International Day for Persons with Disabilities. So many things happening on the local front, and yes, I have had to rush back to office to be able to attend this seminar today. I'm really sorry that I've had to get you to amend your timetable. Really sorry for that, but I kept my word and I promised for today, and with a slight change of time, I hope you can record it, or if we can share later on with interested participants. So in this today's session, we have announced it, I think, with 1 month prior than today. We're trying to look at the HR function, the way it is now compared to the way it was before the COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, we were in a really different situation before the pandemic. And post-pandemic, or for some who are still in the pandemic, HR is functioning, is operating really in a very different mode. So then we need to ask ourselves the question, are there new challenges that we should expect? And how do we prepare ourselves to face these new challenges? I'll share a slide with you where I have put together the different aspects that I would invite HR professionals to think about. This is not at all an exhaustive list, but it is what I call the main ones. Other participants could add to this list. I'm sure this is not at all an exhaustive list, but we have seen that of some organizations, the ones which were in the essential services, were asked to work even during the lockdown, when nobody could leave their house, and some few people had to continue working. Those in the food industry, those in the medical sector, etc., airline industries and the media. So many services were immediately classified as essential services, and their personnel had to work. So This is an area where HR professionals who had what we call a business continuity plan, they immediately could fit into it and get the plan on and running. But those who did not have one had some difficulties adjusting to this new situation where few people with a special pass that could travel around and work itself was redesigned and it shifted from the workplace and most of the time to home from when it was called the work from home mode of operation. So this work from home and for others who had to work at the workplace, business continuity is one of the things that all HR professionals will need to get interested into and start preparing it if you don't have one. If you have one, you should have tested it during the COVID period and seen what works and what does not, and make amends to make sure that you have a plan which can stand all the tests. The second challenge is making sure that we become a financial resilient HR organization. Yes, there are major issues. The crisis has brought with it financial and economic implications. So we need to build this financial resilient HR organization, which leads into making sure that we look at agility, creating an agile and nimble organizational structure, build agility in the way we do things, build agility in all aspects of the work wherever possible. We have also understood that mental health and well-being now takes front stage. So therefore, health and safety, welfare, well-being of our employees will take center stage, and we will need to revisit whatever we've been doing and see how we can improve mental health and well-being. When I say that, I think we have been focused on physical health and well-being. Why now we're talking about mental health? It is because many people feel that there is uncertainty, there's a sense of fear, there's a sense of what will happen, etc., etc. And some people are even afraid of the COVID pandemic. Those who've been through it, those who've lost members of their families, etc. So there is undoubtedly what we call mental issues. So therefore, HR now will have to be interested with mental health and well-being. We have learned how to manage work remotely. In some organizations, they are having many of their workers working away from the office, remote working, working at a distance. So we have to manage that work which is being done now, not in the office, but in a remote place. Together with it, we have to manage remote performance. So we have to devise ways and means to ensure that we manage performance of people working away from the office. How do we engage these remote workforce? It was already difficult engaging the people when they were in the office, and now we need to try and see how we engage the remote workforce, the ones which believe that they are cut off from their colleagues, the ones who believe that they are operating a bit in isolation, the ones who believe that will there be a day where I return to my office, etc., etc. So we need to make sure that we continue ensuring their engagement. And I think it is a testing time, and during testing time, it is an opportune time for HR managers to show that they care. On my 8th point, I brought the idea of now going for what I call a human-centric culture. More focus on the person, more focused on human beings, more focused treating the people around as somebody who has a family, somebody who has a history, somebody who has so many things to tell. In fact, one of the secrets in HR has been put yourself into the other's shoe. So this human-centric culture will bring HR professionals to try and put themselves in the shoes of others, so as to build this human-centric culture. A very good lesson that the world learned from Japan after the different earthquakes that they had and the different difficulties that they have had. They have always put their focus on people. People come first for them. And I think this human-centric culture will become very strong, because one of the things we learned during the COVID-19 pandemic was this sense of solidarity, where people pull together and try to support each other. So we have to see this now being carried forward in the business organizations, where we pull together and support each other. So HR will have to build what we call this human-centric culture. Data-driven business and data-driven decision-making is what is expected, and we need to make sure that we are ready. We are ready to create this digital workplace, create this technology that is coming in very strongly into the workplace. In fact, they are saying digital is not for tomorrow, it is for today. And therefore, we need to get ready for what we call this data-driven business and data-driven decision-making. Finally, my last point is we need now seriously to consider if we need to reset the HR function. Reconsider everything, revisit everything that we've been doing, and everywhere, in all aspects of HR management, there are new things that have to be brought in, new ways of doing, new creative, innovative ways of doing, and we will have to make sure that we have resetted the function and we can stand up to the various challenges that we have to face. As I said in my introductory note, this is not at all an exhaustive list. Many of you could add to that. I just wanted to bring up, to put under the spotlight what I call the major ones, where I personally think we as HR professionals need to put our head together, think about it. How do we ensure business continuity? How do we become a financial resilient HR organization? How we create this agile and nimble organizational structure? How we care about mental health and well-being? How we manage remote work? How we manage remote performance? And how we engage the remote workforce. I'll add to that, I have been speaking a lot about creating this human-centric culture and promoting it, making sure that we are ready for the data-driven business and data-driven decision-making. And I'll invite all of you to consider resetting the people function. Thank you very much. I think we will now, with the help of Yolanda and people around, take a few questions.
Hi, yes. Thank you so much for these guidelines for today, and we really appreciate your taking the time to actually give our lesson today. I do see in our Q&A box that we do have one question from one of the participants. I'm not sure if you can see that question on your side. If not, I'll read it to you, and if you could answer, that would be great. How do you think an organization should go about making changes to new HR practices when the labor laws do not necessarily cover these new practices?
Yeah, my way of looking at it is that we cannot wait for what we call labor laws. And I think labor laws, they really vary from country to country. So if we keep waiting for labor laws to bring changes to the practice, we might become obsolete. I think we should not wait for that. Instead of waiting, we have to take the lead. I think that's one of the objectives of these sessions, Yolanda. One of the objectives of this session is to make sure that we prepare HR professionals to take the lead. Don't wait, don't wait, don't wait. If you keep waiting, yes, the changes in the laws will come, but we all know that these changes take time. It has to go through parliament, etc. There are debates about it, etc. But yes, the legal aspect, but are we not more interested in being more creating, as I said, for example, this human-centric culture? Creating this human-centric culture, why should we wait for laws? It's human nature to, in times of crisis, it is human nature to help and support others. So we cannot wait for the law to come and tell us, come on, go ahead, create that human-centric culture. No, 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 no. I think that's why I say the points that I've raised today are points that we need to ponder upon and make sure that we each of us try to see how we can, in our way, it's different. I know for each of the persons listening to me, each one of you will have a different way of bringing these changes, but make sure that we do bring the changes.
Yes, so that brings up another question on my side. Is there a resource that we can go to see what other organizations are doing to bring about change in their organizations?
Yes, there are plenty of resources available. The World Federation of People Management Association has published a report looking at all countries in the world, all the members of the World Federation, how they have been coping and what they've been doing. In Mauritius, next week, the President of the Republic of Mauritius will officially launch a booklet that we've done, where all these are available in there. It will be launched, I think, on the 16th of December by the President of the Republic of Mauritius. That's for the Association of HR Professionals of Mauritius. A complete sort of guide on all aspects that we've been talking about and sharing experiences of what other countries, what they've been doing to address these important issues. What will happen once the vaccine are tested and are available, and it brings new hope. So how then HR will have to rethink all the challenges that we've been talking. So again, put them into perspective, reconsider them, and see what can be done to address them.
Okay, very good. So can you share with us some of the things that they may have discussed about how to engage employees remotely?
Yes, one of the things that they have come up with strongly is the fact of virtual connection. Virtual connection, make sure that you keep contact with them. Never let them feel that they're operating in isolation. Never let them feel that they have been forgotten by the enterprise or their managers. Make sure that they are there. They still can have the guidance, the support, the feedback that they require, virtual connection. And I think it is also important to remember that many organizations have tried what we call this hybrid form of 4 days at home, 1 day in the office, or 2 days in the office, and things like that. The hybrid model is coming up. wherever it is possible. And in many cases, people are still working from home. So now they're saying things like, we need to get interested in seeing where they are working. How do we remove what we call all the disturbances? How we can help them do that? Can we help them in terms of ergonomics?
Yes.
Making sure that the health and safety no longer now is applicable in the office, but also at the home, making sure that they have the right technology and equipment. And one thing we have discovered is I was talking to an organization that is operating 100% work from home last week. And I told them, now you have insurance for your employees for accident at the workplace. Now they are no longer at the workplace, they're working from their home. What happened if there is an accident there?
Yeah.
And it was for an insurance company. It was for an insurance company. And they said, we have not realized that. And I said, yes, you need to, because a new type of accident at the workplace is going to occur. And the workplace is at home. So
Right.
yes, so therefore there are so many things like this. Even the employee handbook, do we have to rewrite the employee handbook? Can we write a guidance for the best ways to work at home? What are the best ways? What are the things you should do? What are the things you should not do? What are the precautions you should take, etc., etc.? Yes, there are plenty of things that we can do to engage the remote workforce.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much for that. And now you've spoken also about mental health. And what are some of the issues that have been found that are mental health issues that need to be addressed by management that they should be concerned about?
Yeah, I think employees are confused. There is a big confusion in the minds of many. They are uncertain about the future. There is a fear that they might lose their job, or their friends or colleagues have lost their jobs. Some have lost members of their families who have been affected by the COVID-19, or neighbors or friends, etc. So there are some psychological issues that are there. We can enumerate them like that. And I think the organizations that have kept an open channel of communication with their employees would have already listed all the different issues, psychological issues that people are having to face. And I think, as I told you earlier on, I was discussing with a company that has gone 100% work from home, and they wanted me to speak to their employees. And I said, make sure that the element of trust is there. You have to maintain this element of trust between the worker from home and his superior, hierarchy superior, the element of trust. What happens is that when people work from home, many believe that they are hiding, they are not productive, they are not doing what they are supposed to do. So when this element of mistrust comes into the picture, in itself, it creates what we call this psychological ill at ease. So I think the element of trust is very important. I think we need to make sure that the managers speak to them, ask them how things are going, what are the different issues they are facing, is there anything they can do to help them, and most importantly, give them feedback. We're happy with your work, well done. I see that the quality has really improved. So it shows that working from home, getting some autonomy has helped you to be a better, and things like that. There are so many things that can be done to make it. In fact, some organizations are creating fun moments.
Okay.
They put time and they say, all right, at this time it's coffee break. So they all virtually take coffee together, sometimes lunch, dinner, karaoke parties. I think you've heard about karaoke parties, becoming very nowadays very famous, these karaoke parties among employees and their managers. And it brings fun. It removes a bit of this anxiety and negativeness that is surrounding us. So there are so many things we need to do to make sure that we ensure this psychological well-being.
Yes, I think those are very good suggestions, like having the coffee breaks together, having the karaoke parties. Are there any other suggestions that you may have to encourage HR professionals to engage their employees in a way that you mentioned about treating them as if they're family? But of course, when we treat like family, we have to make a distinction between family and our responsibilities in our organizations. So how do you toe the line between that so that it doesn't become all coffee breaks and all karaoke parties, and that we actually have a nice balance? How do we balance between those? Can you give us some suggestions?
No, I think in life we should always avoid extremes. So extremes in terms of fun, there's no productivity. Now, and extremes in terms of productivity removes all the fun from the work. No extremes at all. I'm not at all. That's why. In fact, it's a good word. When you go in one extreme, you're called an extremist. Yes. So don't go into extreme. Never go into extreme. Make sure that there is work has to be done. Yes. Work has to be done. Deadlines have to be set, and people have to, the output, whatever output is expected from them, has to be there. In fact, work is about value creation. Mm-hmm. It's good to have fun, but what value have you created? Or what value have you added? As long as you add value, as long as you create value, respect deadlines, and you give what is expected from you, fair enough. The fun, the karaoke party, the coffee breaks, etc., are add-ons. The add-ons are welcome, but most importantly, we have to justify. In fact, when you look at it, we say creating value. As a nation, then they will tell you creating wealth. So it's creating value, creating wealth. That's primary. We do that, then the fun will follow.
Okay, very good. Well, I really do like the idea of the coffee breaks and the karaoke parties, because we are all under the same conditions, and we're trying to cope with these new conditions under which we are working. Now, all of these conditions actually work for those that are in an administrative environment. What about those that are not in an administrative environment, that are working outside of the office? What suggestions do you have in order to engage them?
It is the same. I think I am for not discriminating between any of them. No. The same principles will always happen for the ones working from home or the one working at the workplace, because I think we have realized that whatever is transportable can be done elsewhere than the office. If it is not transferable, like machines, so then you have to come to the machines to operate. But yes, the same concept will apply. We have to treat people with respect, with dignity, and make sure that we trust them, and then it becomes reciprocal. You trust them, they trust you. You respect them, they will respect you. You expect them to give you some output. They expect you to feel happy and give them feedback about their work. That's the magic of life.
Okay, so we have 30 seconds left. I've heard the word trust several times, that we have to trust our employees, which is very, very important. What other remarks do you have today from today's lesson to encourage HR professionals in working with their staff under these new challenges?
Yeah, I think we have seen new things happening. We will see different sort of transformation that will be there. In fact, HR has been and always will be the function which is, I will term it like this, the change architect. We are the change architect. So it's up to us to make sure that we already design things. That's why the earlier questions, do we wait? We don't wait. We design. this new future. We design. I remember myself writing an article when we were in the lockdown saying, get ready for the new normal. In fact, it is not a new normal. It's a new, completely, totally new environment. But just to give some element of confidence to people, we say the new normal, because there is an expectation to return to this new normal. It will not be. It will not be. So that's why I say, yes, let us bring in the trust. Let us create this human-centric culture and make sure that we stand by the side of each other, help each other.
Okay, perfect. And in last seconds, if you don't mind, if you could just please give us those references again or resources where we can find additional information if we're trying to adapt our new normal, where we can have those references, where we can go to actually get more information that can help to guide us to make the changes that are necessary so that we can cope with the challenges of today.
What I'll do is I'll ask to send you all the references and some writings also about it. I'll be sending it to you, and then you can distribute it to some participants. Very good readings. I'm sure that everyone having a look at them will really appreciate them. We will be sending you these.
Okay, excellent. We will share these with our listeners as well. So thank you so much, Mr. Sharulo, for your time today. We understand you have another engagement, and we appreciate the lesson for today. It has been very informative, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you very much. It's for me to thank you, and I once again wish to apologize for this change in time, but I'm happy I could make it.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.